Join me on a quiet yet majestic journey. Japan, a land that everyone knows about Mount Fuji, the glamorous Tokyo, or the quiet Kyoto. But there are also places that few people talk about. Wonders hidden in the mist, where history, nature, and the soul of the nation blend into a silent melody. Each step takes us further away from the hustle and bustle of the city to touch the pristine and profound beauty. 1. Shirakawa-go, the snow-white fairy tale village. There is a place in Japan where, when you step foot in it, you feel like you have just wandered into the pages of a fairy tale. That is Shirakawa-go, a village deep in the Hida Mountains, where winter covers everything in white, and people live with snow as part of their destiny. The houses here have a unique shape called gasho-zukuri. The long, steep roofs, thatched with grass, resemble two hands clasped in prayer. It is this shape that has helped the village withstand fierce snowstorms for centuries. The strange thing is that the entire roof was built without a single nail, only with wood, grass, human hands, and the ingenuity passed down from generation to generation. The roofs have stood firm for hundreds of years, witnessing the perseverance and wisdom of the people living in the harsh mountains and forests. When winter comes, Shirakawa-go transforms into a fairyland. At night, lights from inside the houses shine through the thick snow, illuminating the narrow, winding streets. Walking through this scene, you will feel like you can hear the whispers of the past, as if each snowflake carries an ancient story within it. It is not just the architecture, but the way the people here live with nature that is admirable. They build roofs to raise silkworms in the attic, keeping them warm during the long winter, and sharing a fire that has lasted for generations. Shirakawa-go is more than just a village. It is a testament to the connection between people and the earth, between harshness and patience. Today, the village has become a UNESCO World Heritage Site. But when you come here, you will find that it is not just a place to see, but also a place to listen. The sound of wind chimes on the eaves, the sound of footsteps on the snow, and the gentle eyes of the people all weave a melody of peace. Perhaps Shirakawa-go wants to remind us that, even in the coldest winter, people can still light up, can still live in harmony with nature if they know how to bow their heads in respect and hold hands to go through the years. 2. Koyasan, where time stops in the middle of a 1,000-year-old pine forest. One misty morning, you stand on the stone-paved path leading into Koyasan. The temple bells are gently rung by a gentle breeze, and in the mist, ancient pine trees stand tall, silent guardians of 1,000 years of history. This is Koyasan, the heart of Shingon Buddhism, where time seems to stop, giving way to boundless silence. More than a millennium ago, the monk Kobodaishi chose this mountain as the place to sow spiritual seeds. Since then, Koyasan has become a holy land, not only for a religion, but for the Japanese soul. Pilgrims from all over come, walk the pine forest path, carrying their prayers, and when they arrive, they feel as if they have just put down the burdens of life. Further on, you will find Oko no Inn, Japan's largest cemetery, where hundreds of thousands of graves are hidden in moss. But there is nothing scary here. On the contrary, the space is filled with peace. The graves are not just stones and inscriptions, but the whispers of successive generations, a long song of life and death mingling in an endless circle. It is said that Kobo Daishi never died. He is still meditating in silence, waiting for the day when humanity will find enlightenment. Therefore, Koyasan does not carry the sadness of death, but the hope of awakening. Each candle lit, each flower placed, is a ray of light in the darkness, reminding us that the presence of compassion has never disappeared. If you stay here for a night, in a temple, you will live like a monk. Eat a simple vegetarian meal. Listen to the bells ring in the morning and meditate under the eaves where the wind blows through the forest. Then you will understand why for centuries people have come to this place to find peace within themselves. Koyasan is more than just a mountain. It is an inward journey, a mirror that reflects the silence we all crave deep down. And when you leave this place, you will take with you not only memories, but also a piece of peace to accompany the hustle and bustle of life ahead. 3. Jigokudani, the hot spring of the snow monkeys. In the harsh winter of the Nagano Mountains, where snow covers the mountainsides and valleys, there is a strange place that surprises the world. Jigokudani, which means Hell Valley. The name sounds fierce, but this place hides a scene that is both funny and magical. Groups of snow monkeys leisurely soaking in hot springs amidst the falling snow. Snow monkeys, also known as Japanese macaques, are the only monkeys in the world that use hot springs to ward off the cold. The image of the monkeys sitting leisurely, eyes half closed, steam rising from their thick fur, makes for a picturesque scene. They bathe not only to keep warm, but also to relax, as if they have learned the art of rest from humans. But Jigokudani wasn't always their sanctuary. In the 1950s, as humans expanded into the mountains, the monkeys' habitat began to shrink. They left the deep forests and came to this valley, where they discovered natural hot springs. Jigokudani became their new home, a remarkable adaptation to survive. What makes this place special is not just the monkeys bathing in the stream, but the feeling that you are witnessing a fragile boundary between nature and human. You stand there, the cold air cutting through your skin, looking into the dark brown eyes of a baby monkey snuggling up to its mother in the warm steam. In that moment, you realize that life, no matter what form it takes, always finds a way to love and protect. Jigokudani has become a popular destination. Visitors from all over the world trek along the long trail through the snowy forest to witness this strange sight. But despite the crowds, the place remains quiet, with the snow-white scenery and the sound of trickling water drowning out all the noise. Some people say that when they see snow monkeys bathing in the stream, they feel like they are looking at themselves in the mirror. In the midst of life storms, sometimes we need to find ourselves a hot spring, a place to relax, to remember that peace always exists. We just need to stop and look for it. 4. Arashiyama, where bamboo whispers with the wind. There are paths that, when you step into them, you immediately feel like you have left the noisy world behind. Arashiyama, a bamboo forest located in the west of Kyoto, is one of those places. As soon as you step in, you will see thousands of tall, green bamboo stalks, reaching up to the sky like pillars connecting the ground to the clouds. They stand close together, straight, and when the wind blows through, the bamboo leaves rustle, creating a sound like an ancient melody, light but deep, reminiscent of whispers from 1,000 years ago. During the day, the light seeps through the gaps between the leaves, shining down on the road like a sparkling carpet. Every step is like stepping into a dream, where reality and fantasy intersect. It is no coincidence that this place was once a retreat for the Japanese royal family during the Heian period. People came to temporarily leave the throne and responsibilities behind, to find some peace in the sound of wind, birdsong, and the quiet majesty of green bamboo. In Japanese culture, bamboo symbolizes strength and resilience. It bends in the face of storms, but rarely breaks. Perhaps that is why, when walking through Arashiyama, people not only admire the scenery, but also feel a pervasive vitality. Amidst the upheavals of life, sometimes the greatest lessons come from the slender bamboo stalks, knowing how to yield, yet remain resilient. Kyoto locals often advise visitors to come to Arashiyama in the early morning. At that time, the mist is still thin. The first light of the day shines down like silk. The bamboo path is so quiet that you can hear the sound of falling leaves or your own footsteps. That is the moment when Arashiyama truly becomes a door opening to another world, where there is no more hustle and bustle, only the slow breath of nature. Nowadays, Arashiyama has become an unmissable destination for tourists. Many people wear kimonos, walking among the bamboo forest as if blending into an ancient painting. Some choose to ride a traditional rickshaw to feel each turn of the wheel echoing in the cool green road. Either way, whoever comes here brings back a bit of silence, a bit of clarity, as if bathing in the invisible stream of time. Arashiyama is not only beautiful, it reminds us that there are sounds that are quiet but can touch the soul. The sound of bamboo and wind, of nature and silence. And sometimes, these sounds are the most necessary music in our hurried lives. 5. Itsukushima, the red gate floating on the water. There is a moment you will never forget when you set foot on Miyajima Island. Before your eyes, in the middle of the blue sea, a giant vermilion torii gate stands tall, as if floating on the waves. That is the immortal symbol of Itsukushima Shrine, one of the most sacred and beautiful wonders of Japan. Since the 6th century, Miyajima has been considered a sacred island, so much so that no one is allowed to be born or die there to keep the land pure. Itsukushima Shrine is built on the sea, as an affirmation that this sacred place does not belong to the earth, but is a bridge between humans and the gods. When the tide is high, the entire shrine complex seems to float. And when the tide is low, you can step out near the torii gate and touch the wood stained by time. The shrine is dedicated to the 3 sea goddesses, daughters of the storm god Susanoo. Itsukushima is therefore not just a structure, but also a prayer for the peace of the sea, for the safe voyages of fishermen, and for the harmony between humans and the waves. Each wooden pillar, each curved tile roof is associated with the belief that the universe can be kept in balance through reverence. Standing in front of the torii at sunset, you will see the red sun blending with the red of the gate, reflecting on the rippling waves, creating a scene that is both sacred and quiet. It is said that, at that moment, you may feel like you are standing between 2 worlds. One side is the noisy reality. The other side is the sacred dream world. Itsukushima is not only beautiful in its scenery, it is also beautiful in the deep meaning that the Japanese convey, that life is only truly complete when people know how to put themselves small before nature and know how to respect things beyond their understanding. And perhaps it is this humility that has helped the shrine survive for more than 400 years, despite storms, wars, and time. But there is one place in Japan that makes you forget the boundaries between sea and sky, between man and God. It is Itsukushima, a floating shrine, but also a symbol of the belief deep in the hearts of the Japanese, the belief in eternal harmony. 6. Kawaguchiko, where Mount Fuji reflects itself in silence. There is a lake where you can see a legendary mountain reflected on its mirror-like surface. That is Kawaguchiko, one of the 5 famous lakes at the foot of Mount Fuji. If Fuji is considered the soul of Japan, then Kawaguchiko is the mirror that holds that soul. reflecting it in the purest and most obscure way. On a clear day, standing by the lake, you will see the majestic Mount Fuji reflected in the water. The blue sky, the pure white snow on the mountaintop, and the still water combine to create an almost surreal scene. The Japanese call this scene Sakasa Fuji, inverted Fuji. Kawaguchiko takes on a different beauty each season. In spring, cherry blossoms bloom along the lakeshore, creating a picture where pink blends with the deep green mountains. In summer, the sky is deep blue. The lake water is cool. Visitors row boats to admire the scenery, while white clouds float above Mount Fuji. In autumn, red maple leaves burn, making the whole lake seem to be on fire in the sunset. And in winter, snow covers everything, turning Kawaguchiko into a quiet world with only the sound of wind and waves. Locals believe that Kawaguchiko is not only a scenic spot, but also a place of spiritual power. Standing in front of such perfect beauty, people automatically feel small and learn to respect nature. Many painters and poets have come here to hold brushes and pens to capture that fragile yet immortal moment. Kawaguchiko is not just for the eyes, but also for the soul. At night, when the wind dies down, the lake becomes so still that you can hear your own heartbeat. At that moment, you will understand that silence can also be a language, and Kawaguchiko is whispering to you in that language. If Mount Fuji is the eternal promise of Japan's land and sky, then Kawaguchiko is proof that beauty does not need to be ostentatious. It just needs to be quiet, waiting for you to come and let your heart feel it. 7. Kyoto, where time turns into color. If there is a place in Japan where history and nature together write endless poems, it is Kyoto. This city was the capital of Japan for more than 1,000 years, the political, cultural, and spiritual heart of an entire nation. But the miraculous thing is that, despite the passage of time, Kyoto still retains its quiet beauty, like a treasure box hiding countless layers of memories. In spring, Kyoto transforms into a sea of flowers. More than 1,600 temples and 400 shrines are covered in the gentle pink of cherry blossoms. From the banks of the Kamo River to ancient gardens, petals fall to the water like soft fragments of time. Residents and tourists sit under the flowers, sipping tea and chatting softly, as if not wanting to break this fragile moment. In autumn, Kyoto is resplendent in the flames of maple leaves. The roads, streams, and temple roofs are all covered in fiery red, yellow, and orange. Walking through the Tofukuji forest or along the slopes of Arashiyama, you will feel like you are lost in an ancient painting painted with fire and light. Kyoto's autumn is not only beautiful to the eyes, but also a gentle farewell of nature before winter comes. In the narrow alleys of Gion, you can see the graceful gait of geisha, figures that seem to have stepped out of another century. They are the embodiment of a mysterious and profound Kyoto, where art, etiquette, and beauty have been preserved through generations. Each of their steps, each smile hidden behind their makeup, carries a part of the memory of the 1,000-year-old city. Kyoto is also a place where people can find themselves. On the veranda of Kiyomizu-dera Temple, listening to the sound of water flowing from the sacred stream, people put their hands on their hearts and make wishes. In the rock garden of Ryoanji, just sitting quietly, looking at the white pebbles and stones placed calmly, you will feel a void opening up in your soul. A void not of lack, but of serenity. Kyoto is unpretentious. It is like an ancient book, every page filled with the scent of wood, ink, and time. Reading it, you learn not only about Japan, but also about yourself, about the fragility of the moment, about the beauty in silence, and about how a culture can live on by respecting the past. Perhaps Kyoto wants to tell us that the greatest beauty is not the one that makes us stunned for a moment, but the one that makes us linger and remember forever after leaving. 8. Takayama. Edo memories still live in every alley. Nestled in the majestic Hida Mountains, Takayama is a small town that carries a whole world of memories. People often call this place the little Kyoto of the mountains, because once you set foot in it, you will feel like you are going back in time, back to the Edo period hundreds of years ago. Narrow cobblestone streets lined with dark, wooden houses with curved tiled roofs and traditional sliding doors still retain their 17th century appearance. Sake shops with large wooden barrels hanging from their porches, rustic artisan workshops, small eateries with the aroma of miso, all create a picture where past and present blend seamlessly. Takayama preserves not only the architecture, but also the spirit of Edo. Japan's two biggest festivals, the spring and autumn Takayama Matsuri, turn the town into a dazzling stage. Intricately carved wooden floats, pulled by dozens of people, parade through the streets. Lanterns glow, drums and gongs resound, and karakuri mechanical puppets move with such agility that they seem to have souls. It's not just a festival, it's a revival of a golden age. In the morning, the riverside Miyagawa market begins to bustle. Locals sell fresh vegetables, tofu, pottery, and mountain products. Visitors stroll and enjoy grilled rice crackers, feeling the simplicity and warmth of a slow-paced town. Takayama is especially famous for its Hida beef, which is tender and flavorful, and is considered one of the best beef in Japan. The town takes on a different kind of beauty in winter. When snow covers the wooden roofs and the light from lanterns reflects off the ice, Takayama transforms into a landscape like a watercolor painting. In the bitter cold, people visit small taverns, raise cups of hot sake, and feel warmed up. Takayama is not noisy, not ostentatious. It is like a living museum where people continue to live with history, not just watch it from afar. Therefore, every street, every bridge, every house here whispers a story of steadfastly maintaining identity in the endless flow of time. Takayama reminds us that there is beauty that doesn't need to change to stand out. Just keeping it real is enough to touch any heart. 9. Nikko, where gods reside in the clouds and mountains. Only about 2 hours by train from Tokyo, Nikko opens up before your eyes like another world. A small city hidden in the mountains, where nature and religion blend into a sacred melody. The Japanese have a saying, "If you have not known Nikko, you have not seen the true beauty." Indeed, just once you set foot here, you will understand why that saying has been passed down through many generations. Nikko's highlight is the UNESCO World Heritage Site complex of shrines and temples, the most prominent of which is Toshogu Shrine. This is the resting place of Tokugawa Ieyasu, the founder of the Tokugawa shogunate, who shaped Japan for more than 250 years. The shrine's Yomimon Gate, intricately carved with hundreds of mythological images and patterns, is so brilliant that people call it the gate that never gets tired of looking at. Every detail here is a wooden scripture, telling about faith, strength, and longevity. Nikko is not only famous for its Toshogu, but also for its magnificent natural beauty. Kigon Falls, one of the 3 most famous waterfalls in Japan, falls from a height of nearly 100 meters into the blue Chuzenji Lake, creating a sound that echoes like the voice of the mountain god. In autumn, this scene is ablaze with the red, yellow, and orange colors of the maple forest, turning Nikko into a magical picture. At night, Nikko becomes quiet. In the mist, stone lanterns flicker to lead the way to the ancient temple. The sound of wind through the trees is like an invisible chant. Here, beauty comes not only from the eyes, but also from the feeling. A feeling like standing at the boundary between human and divine, between reality and eternity. What makes Nikko special is not just the scenery, but the spirit it evokes. It is a reminder that humans, no matter how strong, are just a small part of the vast cosmic picture. And only by bowing to the mountains and forests can we truly reach peace. Nikko is more than a destination. It is an experience, a journey that makes you realize that there are places where time doesn't just pass by. It lingers, like the mist on the mountaintop, like a prayer echoing through the ancient pine forests. 10. Hokkaido, the symphony of the four northern seasons. If Japan is a watercolor painting, then Hokkaido is the largest color area, where nature remains the most wild and untouched. Hokkaido is the northernmost island of Japan, cold in winter but gentle in summer, possessing a contrasting beauty that makes anyone who has ever set foot there unforgettable. In winter, Hokkaido transforms into a snowy paradise. The mountains are covered in white, small towns are covered in ice, and skiers soar like birds on the slopes. Sapporo, the capital of Hokkaido, is resplendent in its annual snow festival, with giant ice sculptures sparkling under the lights. Walking through the icy streets, you suddenly feel that winter is no longer scary, but a festival of light and joy. However, in the summer, Hokkaido appears as a completely different land. The lavender fields in Furano stretch out like a purple sea, the light scent wafting in the wind, evoking a feeling of relaxation and dreaminess. In the distance, green mountains embrace the fields, and small villages nestle in the valleys, bringing a peace that is rarely found anywhere else. This is the reason why many Japanese people choose Hokkaido as a place to escape the heat, to enjoy the cool weather and gentle scenery. Hokkaido also has a special cultural depth. It is home to the Ainu, an indigenous people with their own rituals, language, and legends. In the small villages, you can see traces of a civilization that has lived in harmony with the mountains for thousands of years. From the way they worship the bear god to the art of weaving, everything reflects the strong bond between humans and nature. The cuisine here is also a gift. Hokkaido is famous for its fresh seafood, plump snow crab, sweet scallops, or a bowl of hot Sapporo ramen on a cold winter day. Each dish seems to contain the saltiness of the sea, the sweetness of the mountains, and the warmth of the resilient northern people. But perhaps what makes Hokkaido most special is not the white snow or the lavender, but the feeling of freedom. Here, the sky is wider, the fields are longer, and the wind seems to blow stronger. You can drive for hours and see only mountains, forests, and sea, as if nature is opening its arms, inviting you to return to the primitiveness of life. Hokkaido is more than just an island. It is a song of the four seasons, a testament to the fact that beauty can be both fierce and gentle, both lonely and warm. And when you leave, you will still be left with a question. Is it the faraway lands, the places few people talk about, that hold the truest part of a country?